Welcome back to Luca, where it's time to do some Blitzball. We need to do even more Blitzball than we've done before to get Waka's upgraded Celestial Weapon. First we're going to go into the locker room for the Besaid Aurochs and have a chat with the Aurochs. Me too, man. It's in one of these lockers. I just run around and mash the button. That's a Jupiter crest. That's nice and all, but you know as well as I do that the sigil is the hard one. To get the sigil, we need to do a lot of Blitzball winnings. We need to start off by doing a league match. And to do a league match, we need to win the status reels. We've already won the attackers from a tournament. So we're going to win the league match for the status reels. We're going to win another tournament for the Aurochs reels. And then finally, another league, match, a league. You need to win a league. And get the, what's it called? The actual Jupiter sigil. But to get the actual weapon, we walk into this tavern. Remember where we had a thing with Kimari way back in the game? Hey there, star player. You have it right. Let me see for a second. They're always so vague. Lord O'Holland's artifact, I guess. The world champion. That is Waka's Celestial Weapon. And here we go. League prize, status reels. League means winning 10 straight games. We're not straight. I think you can... If you go about 8 or 9 wins, you probably still win, but yeah, there's a lot of blitzing. I cut it out, of course, but yeah, there we go, status reels. Next up, Aurochs reels. The funny thing is this video is going by at about a minute of showing this, and it took me several hours to do all this blitzing. I did enjoy it though, it's pretty fun. The Aurochs reels for Waka. Now, the problem is when you finish... Nice achievement, by the way. When you finish a tournament and you see the league prize, if it's not the prize you want, you have to either finish the league itself and then hope that the next prize is what you want, or you have to reset the data and start all over again, which I ended up having to do a couple of times. But there it is, the Jupiter sigil. So, let's do another league. There we go. The Jupiter sigil, and Titus is the top scorer, of course. An extra returns fair is always nice. These are the players I used. Wedge, who's now going back to protect the stadium. Brother, pretty much the all-star except for Titus, who's not speaking Albed for once. Zalitz, we used him the last time we played. Play some good Blitzball indeed. Rop, which I mentioned before, but used this time. Probably one of the best defenders. And Jamal in the goal. Oh, you did well. And Waka, which I didn't use, but I have him sitting on my bench, you know, for thematic purposes. Once you're done with all that, you have your Jupiter sigil, you have your world champion. It's time to upgrade the actual weapon. We go back here a couple of times, obviously, to upgrade every weapon twice. Once with the crest, and once with the sigil. I really wish the ball would rotate a bit more smoothly here. It looks a bit weird. The upgraded world champion with the crest means that Ifrit can break the damage limit. Kimari's upgraded weapon means that Ixion can break the damage limit. Lulu's upgraded weapon means that Shiva can break the damage limit. Auron's upgraded weapon means that Yojimbo can break the damage limit. And of course, Yuna's upgraded one is Valifor. There doesn't seem to be any other ones, anyone for Titus and Riku, which could be thematic, I suppose. I would like it to be that Titus was connected to Bahamut, but it's not. Anyway, that's our second Celestial Weapon. Double AP and Evade Encounter. They all have break damage limit and triple overdrive, so the other two is what makes them interesting. Titus has Evade Encounter and stuff, but yeah. We have more Celestial Weapons to get. Next up, I think we're gonna go for Riku's one. Now, if you read a walkthrough, it just tells you, type in God Hand. But how would you find out it was God Hand? Well, a valley with a thorn From a thorn, look across the vale. The only valley with a thorn is Calmlands. You find here, it says, go 49, then 7 to the right in the truest line. Basically, you have to walk all over the place, exact amount of numbers, eventually makes your way back here, where it says, the password is God Hand. You pretty much need a fully finished alphabet for this. Then you go to input and the airship, and you type in, surprise, surprise, God Hand. You get a new place to go to, so it's just actually listed as Mushroom Rock.
Here we go!
And we might have seen this save sphere while exploring this place earlier. There's a couple of places like that, including in Besaid, where you see like 2 save spheres on the actual list, and then you don't know how to get there. Generally, that's airship coordinates. But here we go. With the pantomime motions from Riku, we get the God Hand. Hooray! Riku seems happy. We do need to upgrade it though. We already got the Mercury Crest.
Here we go!
Which is the one we need for Riku. Back here in Bikanel, if you remember. But now it's time for the Cactuar minigame. Song of the Gatekeeper. 10 little gatekeepers play in the sand. Tomei is gone to fetch the water. Be back soon. Yeah. We need to find the 10 spheres of the Gatekeeper Cactuar to go through the sandstorm, which is where it's currently blocked and we can't enter. There's a lot of running back and forth in this desert. It's not as bad as it seems because the music is great, and if you have no encounters, it's a pretty chill experience, just running back and forth. I am going to mostly cut out the boring bits, but I want to show you where to go at least. There he is, the first Cactuar. This is actually one of the best times you can take to actually start capturing them. We need to basically capture everything. We're gonna stick with initiative. But initiative is actually pointless. At this point on, what we need is good accuracy. And pretty much only Waka can reliably hit them. But the deal is, Tomei, fetching water, takes his time and is left behind. A little dim. So this is basically what the deal is with the gatekeepers. It's a little minigame every time. You have X seconds, you have to run. It's like that little game you played when you were a kid. You move when their backs are turned. And then you stand still when they're looking at you. Because it's kneel time. If you get there in time, you have 3 tries. Get there in time, you ambush them. And you capture them.
Alright!
They do give great AP, these guys. Hooray! Tomei Sphere. If you lose, you get Sphere del Perdedor, which means the loser sphere. So now, we run all the way back here. Cut out all that running. Otherwise this video would be about 50 minutes long, I think. Ravivea's gone walkabout. Be back soon. Off we go. This is not quite as long. But generally there's 4 screens of desert. This is like the end screen. You have the beginning screen with the oasis. There is another big screen which had the extra fields or whatever you want to call it. And then there's like the tiny maze part. No, not maze, but like a winding path. Which is basically the one where you found, I think, Waka and Kimari early, possibly, when you came in the first time. I don't know. Speaking of music, by the way, I've grown to really enjoy the arranged soundtrack. I didn't know I would, because the original non-arranged soundtrack was such a big part of my nostalgia for this game. I love that soundtrack. And remixing the soundtrack basically was something I was a little bit hesitant on, but I figured I'd go with it. But yeah, I really like it. No patience. Progressive thinker. This is a bit longer, but we do have 13 seconds. They're pretty straightforward early on. Some of them get really hard. Some of them get really tricky. Well, you got it. Titus's accuracy has actually increased a bit because we've been traveling a little bit on more paths. He does manage to hit them more often than not now, which is good. 2 spheres of the 10 needed. Writing appears when the sphere is set into the stone. 8 little gatekeepers play in the sand. Little Chava likes big numbers. Now this one as a clue, I don't really understand how you would figure out. But then you think like numbers, writing somewhere, so you start checking the signs. But if I remember correctly, when you were looking at them before, this didn't. It just said like Danger Strong Fiend. It's only now that it says 20% off, I think. Or maybe that was the case before, I don't remember. Either way, 20 is a number that little Chava likes. We found him. Recently learned to count to 50. A little needy. Attention deficit. Also pretty straightforward, just run. The early ones
Don't you
are...
run, Needles!
Don't you run, Needles! Ah, there's the dodge.
Piece of cake!
Well done, Waka. 3 out of 10. That's Chava Sphere. If you don't get them all, don't worry too much. Doesn't really mean that much. 7 little gatekeepers play in the sun. Alec and Aloja play tag in the ruins of men. Ruins of men? But ruins? So then you think, okay, where were the ruins? They don't appear until you click the thing, so you do have to keep going back and forth, because for some reason Titus can only carry 1 sphere at a time. You'd think he could just grab all 10, but no. No, he can't. But yeah, the ruins, I remember, were the place early on where I was so sure I had missed something and I found it. But yep, there they are. 2 of them this time. 1 big, 1 small. I wonder who's Alec and who's Aloja. 2 brothers. They move as one, a paragon of brotherhood. Needle time. This would be way harder if they didn't work at the same time. I mean, they're basically See, there we go. We failed the first one, and you do have 3 tries before they give up on you. They give up on you and give you the Sphere del Parador, which is probably Spanish for, or Portuguese or something, for the loser sphere. It's getting so close, but we did it. 2 of them for once. At this rate, we might actually even have Riku get a turn. Indeed. Titus misses all of them, but luckily Waka's there. The putting first strike on my capture up was like the best thing ever. Gives us so many free turns. 24k, it's not bad. So even though there's 2 of them, we only get 1 sphere. I mean, 5 little gatekeepers play in the sun. Bacella seeks the shining blue. This one I remember was the trickiest one the first time I did this when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I didn't immediately have a walkthrough ready. Like, I generally tried something, and then if I didn't figure it out, I was like, okay, what am I supposed to do? Especially when it comes to side quests like this. These days, a lot of the time, you just end up being more prepared. Anyway, so shining blue, right? Well, spoilers for the next, 10-20 seconds. Shining blue is supposed to be a save sphere. The problem is there's like multiple save spheres. Like, it's that one over there in the distance, and then there's one in the next scene, and then there's one in the very first screen, or whatever you want to call it, area. I guess you could just go try all of them. It is a little mystery a lot of the times. But that's how RPGs used to be, They used to be puzzles, and especially Japanese ones. Some of them are really obscure, and you end up having to do a lot of exploring until you figure it out yourself. Or more likely, you look it up online. Seeks the shining blue. Because there's no clue that he's here, right? None whatsoever. So, you just click it. And then you cancel. Because if you go away from it, then yeah. Well, I mean, you could save first if you want, but... Alright. This is a tough one. See, he turns really quickly there, so I even get lost on the first one. There we go. Jesus. He turns so often. Okay. I tried to run over that little bit to get that last couple of seconds because it was going away, but no, we failed this one. So we get a Sphere del Parador. I like saying that. 4 little gatekeepers playing this end. Oh, Rebea stuck inside. Very cryptic, but stuck inside. Stuck inside what? A tent? An area somewhere? Maybe a container? Well, just run around and explore. And eventually we'll find it. So, the way it works is that there are 10 total spheres, and depending on how many of the named spheres you get, and how many of the Sphere del Paradors you don't get, you get a different price. You will always get the sigil either way. I mean, imagine how much it would suck if you lost out on the Celestial Weapon, because you didn't manage to do that little minigame. So you will always get the sigil either way, and then there's like another reward that's based on like how many of the 10 named spheres you get. This chest wasn't here before, and neither were you. Hello, Rebea, who likes cramped spaces. Whoopsie! It says it now bad. This is a bit unique because we have chests. You can just run straight up to him if you want, but you know, we're greedy. We're allowed to open the chest when he's looking, just as long as we're not moving. I couldn't quite get him. And I was like, damn, I'm gonna need to open up the chest again. But no, actually. They just sort of stay there. Which is makes it kinda easy. You can just use up all the 3 tries. Still have 6 seconds. See, that last turn? That's really frustrating. We stayed there so long. Anyway, now it's just a straight run. No more chests. The gems and stuff we find in these chests are generally used for Riku's mix for some awesome stuff. Or halfway awesome stuff. Or to customize, but we get so few of them we're gonna need more, basically. There you go. Fights are slightly anticlimactic because we always take so many turns before they get anything. Rebea Sphere. Well, we're getting there. 3 little gatekeepers. The Lord of the Hole is gone, Isra thinks. So, Lord of the Hole would indicate those giant mobs that were in these little sinkhole things that existed. The problem is you can scout out this screen where there's like multiple sinkholes and there's nothing there. Because he doesn't appear until you leave and come back. Which is kind of a dick move on the game's part, honestly. Because you think you have the right clue, and you do, but you don't find him. So then you start looking at something else, and then maybe you come back later on, and then it's like, wait, hold on, he's actually there. On the bright side, once he's actually back here properly, you see him pretty easily. He's running around in there. Isra. Now this guy is harsh. I actually skipped him really quickly, but basically he was a philosopher. This guy turns a long time, but there's a tiny little tweak. See how long he stares at you? But it's fine, because we run through the sand hole. And we got him! It's kind of obvious, you know, but either way, if you don't try to run through there, it's extremely tight trying to get him in time. Is rest fair? Two little gatekeepers playing the sand. Much curious Elio has gone on a journey. Well, he's not kidding. It's a long journey. We are going all the way back to the very first screen. You know what? I'm not even gonna say anything for a while and just let you chill out and listen to the music. Because it is a great soundtrack in Bikanel Island. Despite the long run back, this little Cactuar is actually my favorite. Little Elio, the curious one, the traveler. We find him right here at the saves fair, which he uses to board our airship. Well, let's go after him. He's not hiding in any one particular room as such. Like, he's not hidden behind an old bed or anything like that. He's curious, you know? He's an explorer. He wants to go on a journey. He wants to see things. And the best place to see things is out on the roof. Hello, Elio. To see what lies beyond the sands, he travels far to distant lands. A bad poet. 11 seconds shouldn't be too hard. Except that the airship turns and twists as you go. Gets a little bit freaky if you're not ready for it, but you have 3 tries. It's not too bad. We got him! And then he falls off. Luckily, we do get his fare. We do not get to fight him, though. I like to imagine that Elio is still out on his journey somewhere, trying to find his path to the great beyond. There's only one gatekeeper left, Flail, who's always behind. Literally. Flail is cheeky and tricky. He turns around without saying needle time. There's no noise warning, no text on the screen. He cheats. So you just have to look at him and not listen to the noise, which you have done for like 9 times now. Suddenly there's new rules. But it's not too hard.
It's over. Woohoo!
Flail's Fair. I think that means we captured about 8 Cactuars, if I didn't get it wrong, because we could have gotten 11. Gone for good. No, actually no, we could have gotten 10, because even Alec and Aloja only gave us 1 sphere even though they were 2, and they took away, they counted as 2 gatekeepers. So yeah, 8, because we missed Elio and we missed, not Isra, Robea, or whatever the one that, no, Vashella was the hard one. Anyway, we're just going back through the little clues, and then they're saying gone for good, as all the spheres disappear. And the last one is Flail. The sand is gone. Now we can go down there. In this X-Sandstorm area. This is the best place to go if you actually want to fight the Cactuar, which you do want to do, usually, because they give you great AP. But of course, we're here mainly for the Mercury Sigil. There is another chest, and this one gives you the reward based on how many named ones you got. Since we only missed one, we got a Friend Sphere. That's it, really. That's all you lose out on unless you get them all. But we have the Mercury Crest, we have the God Hand, and we have the Mercury Sigil. Riku actually gets to stand there herself. Everyone else like shows the weapon floating, but Riku gets to stand there and do her cool emotes. The weapon's power has grown. One more time for the Sigil. The God Hand has its uses, definitely. One of the main things that is really nice about it is that it has Gillionaire, which doubles the amount of gil you get after a fight, which is pretty handy to have. I do wish that it had Master Thief as well. It doesn't though. Master Thief makes it so that you steal rare items instead of common items. It doesn't. Instead it has, as we can see here, double AP. Which is also good, obviously. Quite useful, in fact, but it's not Master Thief. Anyway, that's it for Riku and Waka. There's a couple more to come, and we're gonna get them next. We'll see you then.